Hello and welcome to The Print. I'm Snehesh Alex Philip. Well, one important and good news that has come out is the fact that Bharat Forge has now entered into commercial negotiations with the Ministry of Defense for the big ATAGS contract. And to understand India's artillery program, the history, and the way forward, I have with me one of the finest guests that I could get is Lieutenant General P.R. Ravi Shankar. Now, the reason why I said he could have been one of the finest guests that I could get was because he has served in the Artillery Directorate for long. He was the DDG Artillery in 2008 till about 2010. He was also the additional DG Artillery from 2012 to 2013, and then served as the DG Artillery from 2014 to 2016. So welcome to the Prince, sir.
Oh, thanks a lot, Snehesh. Thanks for calling me. It's a pleasure to be talking with you.
So you are someone who's seen through the entire process, at multiple levels. And I know for the fact that ATAGS program was also is more like your baby. So when you heard this news yesterday that Bharat Forge is now in talks with the Defense Ministry, contract negotiations, what was your view?
Well, my view was good it's happened. That's the first thing. Second thing is there has to be a little correction because this is just not Bharat Forge. It should have been Tata's also.
Yes, Tata's also. Bharat Forge has emerged as the L1.
Okay, and they'll give equitable proportion to Tata's also, so that you have two manufacturers and two suppliers, and so that you hedge your own bets, and you have
Yeah,
two sources of right. The price negotiations and all will continue, but that was
absolutely.
the larger logic which we followed right from beginning, right from the time this gun was developed.
But the army is going in only for about 307 of the
Yeah.
attacks. Now, this was a tax program was sanctioned way back in 2012. It was ready out in 2017, carried out the first trials. It's taken so many years. 2 years ago, Armenia ordered for the same gun and has been delivered. Now they're in talks for a larger quantity of guns. Uh, are you happy with the pace at which this project has gone? And are you happy with the numbers that has been talked about?
Well, if you're looking at the pace, it couldn't have happened faster because it
Okay.
takes a decade and a half from the point of putting it on the drawing board to realization. To that extent, I think it's a damn good progress. You started in 2010-11, actually.
Yeah.
You started with a concept. You had nothing, zero.
Yeah.
Okay. From there, now it is coming to a stage of production in about 14 years is very good. From design, trial, all that. As far as the numbers are concerned, for the gun which has come out finally, I'm okay with the numbers.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll qualify it as we go along. You made a mention that Armenia has already ordered and it is been delivered. Let me put the thing to rest. Armenia has taken whatever the attacks was, the way it is. But that same attacks has issues in our system because it is for terrain. The terrain in Armenia is different. The terrain in our conditions is different. And hence, the attacks which will go to Armenia is different and the attacks which we will buy is different.
Okay.
Okay. And this delay which you have mentioned, a large part is to ensure that the attacks ultimately suit our requirement after due process of modification and remodification. And this again is due to the fact that this gun was originally conceived to be around 12 to 14 tons, but it has gone to about 19 to 20 tons. So in this weight configuration and over design, I call it an over design. Uh, there is no way that you could the army can think of more than about 300 guns. In fact,
Okay.
originally the plan was to just make 150 guns. The army has already doubled it from 150 to 300. So to that extent, I think the army has stretched itself already. And it was well known when this gun was conceived that whatever experience we get out of this gun, we will put it in the next lot.
Okay. So before I come to the next slot,
Yeah.
you mentioned that this was, you thought about it way back in 2009, 2010 onwards. The program was officially sanctioned in 2012. At that time, the Indian Army was pursuing a towed gun RFP itself. I think there were two contenders, the ATHOS, that is of the Elbit, and the Nexter's gun, right? So while the Indian Army was looking at this foreign product, why did you think of this indigenous attacks?
Okay. That's a very good question to ask. Around 2010-12, we have to understand the state of the Indian artillery and the Indian army in the period from 2000 to 2010. If you understand that, everything will still fall in place. The fact that we should have a towed 155 gun, we should have a tracked 155 gun, a, s- a self-propelled wheeled 155 gun, and a mountain gun, a light howitzer. You right?
Yeah.
All these were thought of around 2000, and then something called the RT profile was drawn out. Now, once we
Sir,
drew that profile,
I'm so sorry to cut you in. So you mentioned that this was an RT profile 2017,
17,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, and because usually many people, including me, have written about the artillery, the field artillery rationalization program, the FAB. Nothing of that sort exists. Okay,
there is nothing called FARP. So
okay,
the artillery profile 2017 was evolved around the turn of the century. We visualized about 5 to 6 types of guns, and uh, we wanted the Indian Army wanted. I'm not talking about artillery. The Indian Army. It was a decision of the Indian Army to convert the entire artillery to 155 mm.
yeah,
And even then, we knew it will take us 50 years. It was not a one-day program. We knew. We tried. We went in with RFPs for the towed version, the tracked version, the wheeled version, light guns, everything. We did the whole works. Everything failed. For one reason or the other, everything failed. And at that point of time, we didn't have anyone in India who was prepared to come up. Around 2010 is the hallmark or the turnaround period. We took a decision at that point of time that we will recommence the whole process virtually, but we will recommence through multiple channels. We
okay,
also said at that point of time that look, we have the transfer of technology documents from the BOFOS.
yeah,
Let's use them also. So we opened that also. Around 2009, 10, 8, 9, 10, this thinking, actually 10. 10 is the cutoff point because till 8 we didn't think of those on those lines. And then we started the program, all of them. We had about 7 programs going simultaneously. One was Dhanush, which was to take the blueprint of or the detailed TOT documents of Bofors and come up with a new one. And that evolved over a period of time to be the Dhanush as it is now with a 45 caliber gun. We went in for the towed gun, 52 caliber, which you said
yeah,
Elbit and the other one. But we were, at that point of time, we were only at the RFP stage.
yeah,
Then the tracked version. We did trials of a tracked gun and it failed completely. In fact, the tracked thing, sorry, not tracked, wheeled. It failed, and we couldn't go back because we had exhausted every supplier in the world who could give us a wheeled gun. We
Okay.
started the track gun. Not many people were interested in coming. At that time, we said, look, why don't we start a process of our own design everything? 2010. So we called ARD. We had the model of Pinaka, where we used ARD with two industry partners.
Yeah.
And we for the Pinaka we had the industry partner of L&T and Tata's.
Yeah.
So we used the same model, and we said, come and start the process again. And we said we'll just give 150 we'll fit it into the artillery profile, 150, and move ahead with it. So that's how the whole thing started. The project got sanctioned and all that. So at that point of time, we were attempting any number of anything which we could get, we would be happy. We also
Okay.
attempted upgunning of the 130 mm
Yeah.
to 155 mm. As things evolved over the time, luckily for us, and due to a lot of hard work by the artillery directorate, uh, a lot of our gun programs went successful. We
Well,
got
the M triple
the
seven did, the Vajra did, K9.
we got through the Vajra, we got through the M777, we got through Sharan, which is
Yeah.
that upgunning of the 130 to 155. We got the Dhanush. The Dhanush trials, everything is over. What is left of Dhanush is actually just the production.
Yeah.
In fact, that also got over co-terminously around the time I was in service. So four of our programs went through, and ATAGS was coming up well. We had seen the first ATAGS.
Yeah.
But the problem which we knew at that time, and one of the things I voiced in many of the things is it's too heavy.
Okay.
20 tons, it won't go to the mountains. No way.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Uh, and then we also uh, we started, tried with the MGS, the mounted gun system, 3 times over. Even those RFPs failed. But then we said, okay, let's continue with the story because this is not going to have finished overnight. It's going to take time. And so we've come to a lot of modernization within Atlas. Alongside this, if you look at the guns alone, you will get the wrong picture. Uh, one major thing which happened in this period, I'm talking, we went hammer and tongs. That was the time Mr. Manohar Parrikar was the
The defense minister.
defense minister. And I did go and explain to him, and he said, just do this. And that was ammunition. Around 2010, we didn't have ammunition enough. We
Yeah.
didn't have fuses. We didn't have charge systems. Shells we were making enough. So we went hammer and tongs to indigenize the fuses, to indigenize the charge system. And that paid us results, incidentally, because we knew that we need to have a lot of capacity. If you're going to upgun your entire system from 105 to 155, you need ammunition.
Yeah.
So we built those capacities. We built those capacities in such a good manner that by the time I was in service, 2016, we started seeing the results. In fact, 2017, when Doklam happened, we were ready. We had enough ammunition should something happen. It was not, I mean, we were earlier, when I said 10,000, 2010, we were in a precarious state. I'll be very honest with you. We were in a precarious state. By 2015-16, things started changing. And now I think we are in a good wicket as far as ammunition is concerned. So that's one major thing which happened.
Okay. Yeah.
Third thing which happened, you have to understand this. Why I'm taking a little time is if people don't understand this in the entirety. The third thing which happened is our rockets and missiles just went ahead. BrahMos became successful.
Yeah.
Pinaka became successful. Smirch we could get. And we had some major problems with the smudge with the Russians. We resolved it. By 2012-13, we had resolved it. So, in terms of rockets and missiles, we were on a pig's back. In fact, 2010, the first Pinaka regiment got operationalized. I operationalized it,
Okay.
right? And then by the time I quit service, in fact, 1 month after I quit service, we had fired the guided Pinaka with 80 kilometers range.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of progress there simultaneously, along with making its ammunition. I mean, by the time I left service, we already had 3 or 4 BrahMos regiments, and today I think we have more. So, a lot of, plus we have made progress in having our own indigenous weapon locating radars, right?
Yeah.
And we had methodology for surveillance or Heron UAVs were functional
Yeah.
fully. Even now they're functional. So, and Herons give you a range of about over 200 kilometers. Okay, so things were in place. So, in that context, if you see, I'm glad that the ATAGS has finally seen the light of the day, and we didn't end up as a failure.
Absolutely.
I think
Everybody is
it's a very good thing to happen.
absolutely. There's no doubt about it, sir. It's an indigenous system. But I was just looking at the numbers, and plus you mentioned about this other bid that was on between the Israelis and the French, the Elbit and the Nexter one. What happened to that eventually in 2017? I think 2017 or 2018, the Israelis were emerged as the lowest bidder. But then
Yeah,
the deal never went through, even though the army was kept on pushing for it, right? Even in post 2020, also the army went in for asking for limited numbers of the ATHOS to be bought. Why didn't the deal go through, sir? And in your
there were
sense,
issues.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll tell you, no problem. There were issues with both the guns. Okay, ATHOS and Elbit. So,
that was on the next one. Yeah,
yeah, next. Right? Sorry, not Elbit, ATHOS and next. So there were issues with both guns. This I was in chair when these trials were conducted. So the army was ambivalent on going for any of the guns. And the
okay,
ministry was also ambivalent. Where are the issues? Let me put it that there were issues which I can't talk of there. But probably the army later wanted to go because they were not getting any guns online. They said, okay, here is a ready-made gun. You could buy it as a stopgap arrangement, a few, so that you can, your modernization doesn't stop. Like we did with the 122 at one point of time. When things were not making headway, we got about 10 regiments of 122 from the
yeah,
Russians in
yeah,
the 90s. In fact, I was a battery commander of 122 regiment, so I know it. So this was a stopgap thing, but I think for whatever reason, I'm not aware of it. We didn't take the decision, and we've stuck with the attacks, and they're coming in. Oh, everyone talks. It's in the newspaper, everything. That why only 307 attacks? Why not more? When the requirement of the towed gun was over 1400
exactly.
overall. Yeah, that's the thing which comes. I understand it. I mean, there's very little I don't know about this whole story. So, if you're patient, I'll give you everything.
I have all the times that I'm sure
Yeah,
so do
yeah.
our viewers.
See, when we, again, you have to go back 5, 6 years back when it was not sure that the attacks was coming. It was not sure. The entire 1400 guns were in a question mark. What do you do?
Yeah,
And then the way the attacks was coming, it was known that you made the gun to 20 tons, 21 tons it was at one point of time. It won't function in high altitude. It will fire. But artillery is just not about firing. Artillery is about mobility, sidestepping in time, okay, in marginal roads. This gun in high altitude is a dead duck. It's not even a dead duck. It will just sit. That's all. Tactically, it is no good. But Take it to the deserts, it will be useful. Okay. So your requirement is in the mountains, and your requirement in the plains is not that much. Okay. So that is why the army has not gone in for more than 300. They can't go in. It is just not, and that is the reason why the army has gone in, I think, for another RFP of a light
Towed
towed
gun
gun or
system.
something.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
TGS, the towed
whatever.
gun system. Yeah,
Yeah, the towed gun system where they have fixed the weight to be about 14 tons or 12 tons or
to be
something.
less than, and I use the word preferably less than 15 tons.
Less than 15 tons. Within 15 tons, you'll get. So you'll get, because after all, the Bofors itself was 12 tons. The Dhanush is also 12 tons. Okay, you'll get. You'll get a good gun within less than that, right? So that is why we have gone for the towed gun system. In the mountains, you have no other choice but the towed gun system, a lightweight towed gun system. I mean, we don't have a choice at all. So in that RFP will go again to these same firms
Yeah.
who will come, Tata's, Kalyani, L&T, and anyone else. They'll come. So it's not going abroad.
Okay. So, so when you, for example, you say mountains, so why didn't India go in for more of the M777s? Why only
Yeah,
145?
that's a good
And you
question.
also
That's
have
a
the
very good question.
Kalyani Group, which has manufactured its own
Yeah, yeah,
light
yeah.
gun.
We'll come to Kalyani Group later. Why we'll first talk of the M777. M777, there's no doubt that the requirement is more. We need. But there were other issues. I'll leave it at that,
Okay.
related to politics, cost, all. It's a government decision not to go in for it. Um, in my opinion, we could have attempted a repeat order,
Okay.
right? But that's my opinion, personal opinion. So, but I'll not hold it against the government. Okay, so we left it at that. And also the fact, which I'm again now I'm speaking from knowledge. I think six regiments meets your requirement largely at this point of time. You need
Okay.
more for other purposes that I will talk of. Will not talk. Six
Yeah.
guns for current, you're okay. It meets your requirement. And this was foreseen not now 2000. This
Yeah. And all of those M777s are deployed in the northeast. They're not deployed
no
in the
wherever. Where I
yeah.
don't know that. That I don't know. There might
Ah,
be some deployed in the north. I'm not sure about that. Okay. Uh, so that has happened, right? Now you're talking about Kalyani light gun. The fact is that if the government has taken a decision that they don't want another light gun
hmm.
for whatever reasons, why would they buy another light gun? One. Number two, the light gun of Kalyani has not been proven anywhere.
Okay.
I've not heard of it even being fired. I mean, just because, look, I've seen that gun. I respect Kalyani Group for what they've done. They've done something very great. But I'm not talking of that. I know Mr. Baba Kalyani personally. No, leave that out. No, I'm talking of a very professional way of looking at it.
Absolutely.
Okay? That gun is not proven. So how do you, and if you have to procure even Kalyani's gun or any gun, you need to have a program. You need to have a DSC approval. You need to have a process. You can't just go and buy a gun like brinjals, no? Just because someone has
Absolutely.
a gun. So that is how it is. And the government took a decision, and we leave it at that.
So, when we talk about this new gun system, the new artillery program, so one of the fears is that even though it is an IDDM under the IDDM category, right? The fear is that the ATHOS could make a comeback, you're aware of the issues with ATHOS. I'm
Okay,
myself aware of the issues with ATHOS, right? If there
okay.
is a transfer of technology that happens, if there's an IPR exchange that happens, then it could be in conjunction with an Indian company. ATHOS could be on his way back, because I remember ATHOS had written multiple letters to the MOD saying that they will offer 75% indigenous content in the first slot itself.
Yeah, I agree with you. But look at it this way: IDDM. Okay, you have Bharat Forge, L&T, and Tatas.
Yeah,
All three of them today are proven gun manufacturers.
yeah,
Okay. If they want to get some technology from somewhere, let them get. If they want to get some design from somewhere, let them get. No harm. That's the first thing. Okay. Why worry? And if whatever the problems which were there, either with the Nexa gun or the
yeah,
Elbit gun, if they are rectified, so be it. After all, you with this experience, even the toad gun system with the RFP is put out, you will get a reply very fast because you have the capacities today. It's not like 10 years back you have to search for people. I had to coax people to come and put their thing for RFP. कि भाई आ जाओ आप RFP को reply करो. People didn't. ठीक है ना?
yeah,
They said नहीं यार but today people are willing to come and you have experience, and if they get technology from somewhere, I have no this thing. How can ethos come back? And that's saying it foolishly.
okay,
Anyone who thinks like this is a fool. I'll tell you why. You think Indian Army is a fool to rebuy ethos after all it has gone through? You think this will not come through? You think any chap who's doing the trial will let that ethos go through after once it has failed? So
yeah,
that is say thinking. And plus, from ethos 10 years back to now, 14 years, 10, yeah, 10 years back to now, technology has changed. Why will they not improve?
absolutely,
And if the Indian biggies, I call them the three biggies, if there's a fourth biggie, all the way more better competition, they come in. It's good for us. And they will also improve the technology and you'll go to a next level. So, in terms of time, you'll get compressed, you'll get better technology and everything. And something which fits mountains,
okay. So,
right?
and
Yeah.
and that is where my next question is. For example, now India is going in for the towed gun system. Now many of the I call them experts on social media
Ah,
and
yeah,
experts guys, you know uh, and they keep writing to me also saying that that why are we going in for towed gun system?
yeah. You should
What
go
we
for
need,
mounted gun system.
it's a mounted gun system, and it makes
What
sense,
do you get?
from a layman's point of view.
Yeah.
It of course
Layman's
makes sense,
point of view, it makes perfect sense.
because
Perfect sense in layman.
yeah, so in a drone scenario, as you said, it makes perfect sense. So why is the army not so
Yeah.
focused on, why are we needing more towed gun system
Yeah.
rather than mounted gun system which can
Yeah.
shoot and scoot?
Yeah. Okay. The most perfect system on social media is the most imperfect logic. सोशल मीडिया यहाँ बैठ के मैं कुछ भी बात करूं तुम भी बात कर लो. You have to haul your backside up to 14,000 feet, sit there, and then understand whether you need a towed gun or a
Mounted.
mounted gun system. Yeah. Okay. Now let me go back. Having said this, let me go back to the logic under which we made this RT Profile 27. I'm privy to it because I wrote it, and I
Yes,
can.
it was written in
You can.
2008.
No, I wrote it. I was the DDG then when I did it. I still remember presenting it to the army hierarchy. There's logic in what army does. Army is not an idiot. कि भाई कल जाके कर लो. अगर ऐसे ही होता तो ये देश लूट जाता कभी. कब तक ये लूट जाता देश. हमारा गवर्नमेंट में ना थोड़ा बुद्धि है. मैं सबको बताना चाहता हूँ, इसीलिए हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ ये. ठीक है ना, हिंदी में समझ में आता है ना सब कुछ. बाकी देखिए, we wanted 7 types of guns as per that RT profile. And one
Yeah.
of them was MGS. Incidentally, one of them was MGS. It is still there in the profile. Okay. But we wanted it for, we wanted terrain specific artillery. Terrain specific artillery means what? कि एक इलाके में, रेतीले इलाके में वो तोपखाना होना चाहिए हमारे पास जो रेतीले इलाके में काम करेगा. पहाड़ी इलाके में वो तोपखाना होना चाहिए जो पहाड़ी इलाके में काम करेगा. Okay, so it was a terrain specific artillery. We did a lot of diligence, and this diligence is not done sitting in Delhi. The diligence is done by going to forward areas, getting feedback from them, getting the views of the commands. A lot of diligence, right? And this diligence is not just on 2008 when we wrote it. This diligence started 2000, in fact 99 during Kargil time. Okay, we've had the experience of operations in Kargil. We know what we are talking. Okay, we know how to. I mean, people shouldn't forget the way we employed artillery in Kargil and we won that war. No
Absolutely.
other country has done it. We have that
It used to be the
experience.
god of war.
We have that experience, right? So based on that, we said the MGS and the tracked SP and the wheeled SP were meant for deserts and plains. Not never meant for mountains.
Oh, okay.
It never meant for mountains. In the mountains, it was towed and light, M triple. Right. Now let me explain why. The logic. You know, you don't shoot and scoot in mountains. You shoot and stay put. There's no place to scoot in mountains. You can go from one place to the other. Right? In mountains, you don't get place to deploy. There's no shooting and scooting. That's the first thing. Normally in a gun position in mountains, guns are deployed, dug in, and you fight from there. One vehicle is kept in the gun position. Only one, or max two. The rest are all tucked away in something called a wagon line,
Yeah.
far away, so that they don't get hit. This is kept what for? If suppose there's enemy attack or something like that, pick and take one odd gun to the other place. More than that, you don't shoot and scoot. When we use a lot of Bofors in Kargil, there was no scooting. We stayed put and fired. There's no scooting. Gun can scoot. Where will ammunition scoot? Please understand, every gun carries 100 rounds of ammunition on with it. And another 100 rounds are dumped every night of battle. 200 rounds. Each round is 50 kg bare weight with bare weight with packing, shacking, everything. Each round is 100 kg.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 to 9 people on the gun. 9 people is authorized strength. Actually, physically, they're not more than 4 or 5 chaps.
Okay.
Someone is getting ammunition. Someone has gone ahead for local defense. Someone has gone ahead to do something else. 4 to 5 guys. How can 4 to 5 guys loaf around, do shoot and scoot with a 14-ton gun and how many 200 into 100? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
आप भाई फौज में ना दिमाग लगा के हम काम करते हैं, वो उस पर मसल भी लगा के काम करते हैं, बट बेवकूफी नहीं करते. So you can't shoot and scoot in mountains. There's no place. Many places you do irregular deployment in mountains so that you can just tuck in the guns and fire.
Yeah.
And this I used to remember doing with small mountain guns, 75-24 guns, which were just about 10 feet long. Abhi to and they were just hardly 1 ton. I'm talking of old days. Even there, we couldn't deploy off the road. Now you're talking of 14-ton behemoths being taken up there. Road improved everything, but it's don't scoot. Many places in the mountains, many places in the mountains, the subsurface soil is very light,
Yeah.
loose. I'll give you a actual example. Uh, when I was a brigade commander, I was operating in the northeast, that fishtail area, place called Hayuliang, in the Bolong sector.
Yeah.
Okay, there our roads are so poor, not because people don't want to make roads. You make a road, it will just collapse the next day. If you
Sure.
send a gypsy up there, there's a good chance it might collapse. So you don't shoot and scoot in those places. If you scoot, you'll fall. Okay. There's no, so you stay put and fight in mountains, right? So those places, so out of question to think of taking a MGS and all, right?
Okay.
A towed gun is just about 10 to 12 tons with the gun train, right? But a mounted gun, everything is concentrated,
Yeah.
heavy. So you can't take a towed mounted gun up into the mountains. Some places you can, but most places you can't. Where can you take, say, the mounted gun system? You can take the mounted gun system into the Depsang area and all that. Okay.
Where
That's where
we're using the Vajra, but like the army is now going in
that's
for
yeah.
additional
Yeah.
Vajras.
Vajra. So there you have the Chinese are using the MGS there,
Yeah.
right? They I think it's PHL 101 or 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
There. And this side we have the tracked version. Vajras, like you rightly said. We are buying 5 regiments of mountain enabled Vajras.
Vajras. Yeah.
So there's no problem. So you have what you want. You can shoot, scoot, do what you want with Vajras. Where the terrain is permanent. And you don't need more than that.
Yeah.
The rest you need towed guns. And you can't take attacks there, incidentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're essentially saying is that you're happy with the attacks. It is a bit overweight. Initially, it was only 150 numbers that you were looking at. The army has actually gone ahead and doubled the numbers. It's now
Another one.
307. And you believe that what the mountains need is a towed gun, but a much lighter towed gun.
Lighter towed gun. Yeah.
So you're saying the Indian companies will come forward, and if they have tie up with a foreign collaborator and they take the design and redevelop it, it's going to make it faster and quicker. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, sir, because this clears a lot of doubts. Because many times, I like to report, which is completely based on facts. At times, I don't have the full information too. But many times, what happens is that there's a bombardment of people who come to you, and then at many times you're not able to say what you really want to say on the
Yeah,
social
I
media.
understand. No, I'll just add one point before you sign off. These attacks, you put them in uh, deserts, and there are a lot of Bofors which are in deserts. You
Yeah,
push the Bofors up to, and plus we also need to upgrade the Bofors.
yeah,
That's also there. Those Bofors are now 80s vintage. 84, I
exactly.
remember firing the first Bofors. I was a captain when I drove the first Bofors who came here.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, to School of Artillery, Devlali. I was an instructor there. So those are old. Now they also have to be upgraded and upgunned. So that's another thing which the army has to do sooner or later, right? And so this transition attacks will help actually. Attacks is a great value in for us to upgrade the Bofors.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know whether the army is fully thinking of it. I'm sure they would be. So they would be waiting, and when the attacks start rolling in, instead of pushing the Bofors directly up, you do an upgradation program and then push them up. That will be the logical way to go.
Okay. That's something that I would seek out the army's response on. I'll try and find out more on that. But thank you so much, sir, that for speaking to the print. I know viewers that it's a bit longer than what we usually do, but this is the most comprehensive, discussion that you will find on India's artillery program, and hopefully it clears a lot of doubts that you have. And and this is exactly the reason why I I call Lieutenant General Shankar, who I often talk to, as the father of India's modern artillery program. So thank you
Oh,
so much. Thank you
thank
so much,
you.
because because in the entire program, whatever is there, you were there as DDG, then as ADG, and as the DG artillery, and all the program successes have actually come in your tenure, be it the attacks, be it Dhanush, be it the M777s, or for that matter, Vajra also. But thank you so much, General, for speaking to the print and telling our viewers, expressing your views to our viewers, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Snehesh. Always a pleasure to be with you and the print.